Hi everyone, today's art journal prompt is material, and I must admit I've been thinking about this crazy idea for quite a few weeks, and just thought today, right, let's go for it. I've had this huge bag of scraps for absolutely ages. I picked it up, gosh, probably about 5 or 6 years ago from the Malvern Hills sewing show. It was the quilting show, and it was on a stall where a lady had been using scraps of material to decorate picture frames and all kinds of things. And I asked her if she had a bag of scraps that she would sell me, and she sold me this for a couple of pounds. I just thought all the lovely material was just, I just love the colours and the patterns, just absolutely gorgeous. I've also got this bag of scraps here. These are from my own projects that I was doing. I sort of went through a phase of making little brooches and things, and these are some of the bits and pieces that I've got left. So I'm not sure which pack I'm going to use, but I want to try and create some kind of collaged background. So I'm going to get some Mod Podge and a paintbrush, and we'll start playing. Right, so I've grabbed some Mod Podge, and I'm just going to put some nice thick layers down like so, and let's put that there to put my brush in, and I'm just going to glue some of these fabric strips down to my page like this. I've chosen the larger bag of fabric just because the fabric is slightly thinner than the other one that I showed you, so this is the one that I've decided to use. And I'm just going to choose various patterns and colourways and overlap everything. I'm probably going to end up with quite a thick background, but that's absolutely fine. It all adds to the texture. Let's overlap this here. See, I'm not cutting anything, I'm just, I've got lumps and bumps and all kinds of things going on here, but hopefully it will all add to the piece. You probably think I've gone completely stark raving mad doing this, but I've just been itching to do this for such a long time. Oh gosh, decisions. The hardest thing is trying to decide which piece to use. Right, grab some scissors because I am going to cut some of the bits off. There we go, like that. So I'm going to carry on doing this, and as soon as I've glued my border in place, I'll come back and show you what I've ended up with. That's how my background is looking, and I just love this, and I absolutely love the feel and texture of it as well. But I want to tone it down a little bit, so I've got some gesso that I'm just going to use here, and I'm going to water it down a little bit. So we'll just spray some water on that, and I've got one of my sponges that you've seen me use before, and again I'm just going to sponge over the top of this. So I still want to be able to see all the lovely colours, but just need to tone it down a little bit so that it's not quite so in your face and busy. Okay, so my gesso's dry, and I just absolutely love the feel and texture of this page. It just feels amazing, and I don't know whether I'm going to do anything else to the background. I haven't decided yet, and in fact actually I'm going in a completely different direction to the one that I thought I was going to go in. I had this all planned, and I don't know, just putting my bits and pieces together, it just didn't look right. I'm not going to tell you what I was going to do because I'll save that for another time. So what I have decided to do instead, and the reason I've got this board out, is I have adhered some fabric scraps to some freezer paper, because I want to cut some leaf shapes out. So I've adhered enough, I think, for about 16 leaves, and the way that I've done this, people asked me when I showed you how to fuse napkins, a couple of people had asked me to show you exactly what I did, so I've got my iron at the ready. I'm just trying to decide which is the right way up for this fabric. I think it's that way. Hang on a second. Right, so this is freezer paper. That's the paper side of the freezer paper, and this is the glue, the shiny side, and that's what I've attached my fabric to. And all you want to do is put your fabric right side up. So here we go. This is just a small piece that I'm showing you here because I've run out of space. And then you want a piece of parchment paper to protect your iron. And then I've got my iron on a hot heat, no steam. And you just iron it until it's fused to the freezer paper. So there we go. Slow down a bit, Nina. It just takes a matter of seconds. That's all. It doesn't take long at all. And this is exactly the same for napkins as well. You would just place your napkin on top of the freezer paper with the shiny side, the glue side up, and put a piece of parchment paper over the top of it and iron away. Of course, you want your napkin or fabric with the pattern side up, like I'm doing here, and that should be, yeah, you see that's fused really nicely. It's more difficult to get it to fuse properly around the edges, so just go over it if you see an area where it's not quite glued, and that is it. So let me just turn my iron off because I don't need that anymore. And then I've cut out a leaf shape. Here we go. This is what I'm going to be using. And I'm just going to hold it in place like this and cut leaves out of each of my shapes. So let me just show you. I'm not going to hold it down with anything. I'm just going to use my hand to hold it in place. It doesn't have to be perfect. So here we go, just cut around it like this, and I'm going to do the same for all of my pieces of fabric. Right, I've cut my leaf shapes out now. They're actually petals, but I can see that the background is still too busy and needs toning down. They just don't stand out enough. I've got an idea for just an edging of the petals, but what I've decided to do is grab some of this pale blue light here, and I'm going to go over again with another sponged layer. I'm going to water it down significantly again. Let's just move those out of the way. Again, I think I need a bit more water. Here we go. I'll just put my phone on silent a second. Somebody's trying to message me. So here we go. We're just going to go over. And the reason that I've cut the petals out of the same fabric that I used for my background is just for continuity, just to sort of tie everything together. So I'm going to continue doing that, and then I shall give it a dry, and as soon as I'm done I'll come back and show you what it looks like. Now this is how I want to display my flower on my page, but I want to add some kind of border to the petals, and I've decided that what I'm going to do, I've just done a trial run. I've done it with this one here. I don't know whether you can see, and that looks much better. And all I've done is outline the edges with some gesso. So I'm going to pop some gesso. In fact, actually, I'm going to grab a fresh palette. Okay, so I've just spread some white gesso out on this piece of waxed palette paper. And I think the quickest way to do this is to just dip the leaves in to coat around the edges, and I think I'm less likely if I do this to sort of get it where I don't want it. At least I hope so anyway. It depends on how clumsy I am today. So I'm going to do this to all of my petals, and then of course I'll have to wait for them to dry. Right, now I've inked around my leaves now, well, gessoed around them, and that's what they look like, and I'm really pleased with the way that that they've turned out. That's given them a nice finish. But I want to focus on my background again before I start assembling my page, and in complete contrast to last week's minimalist page, I'm going to add loads and loads and loads of interest to this background, and I've got my Tim Holtz texture tread. In fact, it's the Ranger texture tread in sort of like a scallop design. I don't know whether you can see that. And I've got my Stays On ink in teal blue, and I'm just going to add some interest all over the background, just to add another layer. Right, so that's finished, and it's had a good dry, and I really like the way that that looks. So now I've grabbed a script stamp. This is really mucky, but it still works okay, and I've got my Ranger archival ink, and I'm just going to go over the top now with some black script. Now I absolutely love how this is looking, and before I move on and start assembling my flower, I just want to add some white splatters. So I've got some white gesso here to my left hand side, and I've just watered it down, and I'm just going to put some splatters on here. And I just love that the background is the colours that are in the flowers, and the same material that are in the flowers themselves as well. So I shall go off and dry this, and then come back and we'll have a look at assembling the flower. Right, now I've got my petals, and I just want to start assembling these, and I've bunched them together, and I think I want them to go something like this. So I'm going to grab some glossy accents and glue 3 sets of 3, which should hopefully, when put together, form my flower. Okay, so here's my 3 lots of 3 joined together. So now I want to come back with the glossy accents and join these together. So all I'm doing is just adding just a tiny bit of glue to the tip. So I'm just going to add that there, and then whoopsie-daisy, press that down, let that stick, and then we'll add some glossy accents here, and then we'll add this 3rd trio. Now my flower is going to go on my page something like this, and what I want to do is tuck some more petals in something like this. And so I'm going to go away and fiddle with this and glue everything in place when I'm happy with how it looks, but it will be something like this. I hope you can see what I'm doing here. And then we'll have that one, I think, that way up. So I'm going to go away and fiddle. And here we are, here's my finished page, and I absolutely love how this has turned out. I glued my flower down with glossy accents, and it's not completely flat, although it is adhered properly, and I used, as I say, glossy accents to do that. And then I've added this centrepiece here, and the white is just a piece cut out of mixed media paper, and then the centre is just stamped out of Italian book paper that Josie gave me in the recent challenge. My quote, never be afraid to try something new, because life gets boring when you stay within the limits of what you already know. And you know, that's just so true for me here, because I wanted to try working with fabric, which I've not done so before, and you know, my original plan just didn't work out, not because I'd done anything wrong. It was just that I soon realized, after I'd done my background and tried to assemble everything, I realized very quickly that my page, just the size paper paper that I use for art journal prompts just isn't big enough, and it just wouldn't work. So I need to do something else with that. It's still an idea that I want to use, but just not for art journal prompts. My pages are just not big enough, unless I get a bigger journal, of course that is. And then what have I done? I added a 3D craft butterfly sticker. These are 3D stickers out of acetate. So I added one of these, and then I added a filigree embellishment. And this one here was from the works. These were £1 for a set of 6. I can't remember whether this one was from the range or even Poundland. I'm not sure, but again, I think it was £1, £2 at the most. And so that's what I've just used to finish everything off. And in the same way that I went round my petals with the white gesso, dipping it in, I've done exactly the same thing with the border for my page as well. And then I've held my heat tool really closely to the wet gesso to get it to bubble and blister, because it bubbles up and it gives you a really lovely raised texture. Can you see that here, and over here and on the petals? And I just love the way that looks and the way that it feels. So there you go, there's my finished page, this week's prompt for fabric. But to give you some ideas of what you can use whatever you have around your home. You haven't got to go out and buying loads of patterned fabric. Use what you have, but you can use pieces of ribbon, lace, bandage or gauze even, just like I used last week, organza, an old tea towel, some muslin that you might have in your kitchen, an old t-shirt, maybe some denim fabric that you might have, or dust rags. Just really have a think about what you can use. Fabric is quite broad, really. So I look forward to seeing what everybody else comes up with, and please give me a thumbs up if you like what I've done here, and let me know what you think in the comments below. Take care everyone, and I'll see you all again soon. Bye for now.